Good morning, students. How are you? I hope all of you are fit and fine. Let's continue our chapter. In our previous class, we have discussed about the way that the word way means path also, and the way means the method also, how to do a thing. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. Now, in the next paragraph, it is said that a classical Chinese landscape means a classical work is not meant to create an actual view, means a real view, as would a Western figurative painting. Now, there is a comparison done between a classical Chinese work and a Western work. It is said that the Chinese work is not an actual view. Chinese work does not look like an actual one, whereas the Western works, which looks like the flowery painting, figurative painting, which Western art, which looks like a real one, whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it. Now it is said that the European painter wants you to borrow the eye, wants to carry the eyes, want to take the eyes and look at the things and look at the particular landscape and look at the particular art exactly as he wants to show you. Means he wants to show you an apple, then you will also see the thing as an apple only. Means what he wants to show you, you also see the same thing. From a specific angle, the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint, and the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. His landscape is not a real one, and his landscape and his painting, his art is not a real one. Chinese art is not a real one, and you can enter it from any point. Since it is not, Chinese art is not a real one, Chinese art which is not a real one, Chinese art which is not a real one, the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. His landscape not a real one. His art is not a real one. His art is not a real one. And you can enter it, and you can enter into the art of the Chinese art from any point. There is no any particular point is given, not a particular way is given. Then travel means you can, here the narrator also said that in the Chinese art you can enter it from anywhere, and there is no any specific way is given that you have to enter only from this direction only. The artist creates a path for your eyes. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down. Artist gives you path. Artist is giving you the path to move you up or down or from left to right, and then comes back to his normal position. In a leisurely movement, in a comfortable movement, they will come back. This is even more true in the case of the horizontal scroll. What is scroll mean? Actually, this word we maximum time we use with the mouse that we use in the computer. While we are using the computer, we are using the mouse, and we always scroll. Actually, scroll means to move up and down. Okay. This is even more true, and this thing is even more true with the case of the horizontal move up and down, in which the action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the other, adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. Here the narrator wants to say that actually the rolling of the painting up and down and adding a new dimension means giving a new dimension to the time in order to participate by the viewers. Participation of the viewer who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting. Now he says that in Chinese art, since the Chinese art is not a real one, the paintings scroll, the paintings moves them down and they decide a particular time, and then the viewer who decides at what pace and the viewer who decides at the which rhythm, which pace he will travel to that painting. A participation which is physical as well as mental, and this participation of moving within the painting is not only physical as well as mental also. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes, and the Chinese painter does not want to borrow his eyes. If we have seen earlier also, in which we have seen that European artist wants to borrow his eyes and this thing he said to his viewers also, that borrow his eyes and see the things as he want to show you. But in contrast to the European art, the Chinese painter does not want, and whereas the Chinese painter does not want to borrow his eyes, he wants you to enter his mind. Means he does not want to show as European painter want to show, that painter want to show you the thing as he want to show you, but the Chinese painter wants to enter his mind, want to know his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual base, and this landscape and this picturization is an inner one, which is a spiritual as well as conceptual space, and this provides providing an idea about that space. This concept is expressed as Shen Shui. This concept is known as Shen Shui. Actually, this concept is known as the Shen Shui. The concept is expressed as Shen Shui. Okay. This concept is known as Shen Shui. It actually means the mountain water. Mountain water. Shen Shui actually means mountain water. The concept is expressed as Shen Shui, literally means mountain and water, which used together represent the word landscape, and this both combinedly used to present the landscape. Both of them combinedly used to present the landscape. This both of them combinedly used to present the landscape. More than two elements of an image, these represent two complementary poles. This mountain and water, by the word when you are saying mountain, like which is tall, high, okay. See the height, they are very high, top, and water, they are moving. These are vertical. These are vertical. These are vertical, and these are which are moving like this. These are horizontal. Okay. Horizontal moving. Okay. These are horizontal moving and these are vertical moving. Okay. These are the two poles. Mountain. By the picture you have seen this mountain, which is as big as you can see, and water that moves horizontal on the earth, moving, taking rest on the earth. These are the two poles, two elements of an image. These represent two complementary, this mountain and water. This represent two complementary poles, reflecting the Taoist view of the universe, and these represent the Taoist view, that views followed in the universe. The mountain is yang. The mountain is yang. The mountain is yang and the water is yin. And the water is yin. Mountain is known as yang, and what is known as yin. The mountain is yang, reaching vertically towards heaven, towards the heaven. And these are stable, warm and dry in the sun. Because they are mountains, they are vertical in nature and they are warm, dry because of the heat of the sun. While the water is yin, moving horizontal, taking rest on the earth, fluid, moist and cool. The interaction of the yin, the receptive, is feminine aspect of universal energy, and this is the feminine aspect of the universal energy. Okay, and this is masculine. Okay, yin is feminine aspect of universal energy and its counterpart yang is masculine. Is of course a fundamental notion. Notion is actually a fundamental view of universe. Actually, it's fundamental idea of Taoism. What is often overlooked is an essential third element, and often it is overlooked, and often it is not given much importance about the middle void, which their interaction take place and which always comes to in our demand. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayam, and this thing can be compared with the pranayam. Breath in, retain, and then breath out. Breathe in, retain, and breath out. The suspension of breath is the void. The suspension of the oxygen is void, where meditation occurs. The middle void is essential. The middle portion is very much essential. Nothing can happen without it. The main thing, how we can retain that oxygen in our body, that thing is the most important thing, that how we retain that oxygen. Hence, the importance of the white unpainted space is in Chinese landscape. Hence, that's why the importance of the white unpainted space in the Chinese landscape. This is also where man finds a fundamental role. This is a place where we find a fundamental role. In that space between heaven and earth, in that space means here we have seen that mountain, heaven and this earth. And earth, and in between, who is there? He becomes conduit means the posture, the main passage of the communication between both poles of the universe. His means there are the two poles, heaven and earth. These are the two poles, and there is a conduit. There is one passage, communicator. Who is this communicator? And there is one communicator between these two poles of universe. Who is this? Who is this communicator? His presence is essential, even if is only suggested, far from being lost or oppressed by the lofty peaks. He says that the man who acts as a communicator, who acts as a passage between these two poles, between the two poles of the universe, between the heaven and the earth, and man acts as a communicator between these two poles, far from being lost or oppressed by the lofty peaks, and whether they are oppressed or they have been founded by these lofty peaks. He is Francois Cheng's wonderful expression, the eye of the landscape, and they are known. Now, here it is said that this is the wonderful expression. This is the wonderful expression where the wonderful things done by the Francois Cheng. This is known as the eye of the landscape. After the word is written excerpt. What does word mean? Excerpt. Excerpt. What this word excerpt mean? Excerpt actually means some portion which you have taken from anything. Here it is said that excerpt from landscape of the soul. Excerpt means actually some portion of that book had been taken and that thing had been printed here. Means the landscape of the soul, except some portion of that book had been taken, and the means from the big thing means you have taken the small thing. Okay. Excerpt from landscape of the soul, ethics and spirituality in Chinese painting, slightly edited. Now here it is said that excerpt means here from the landscape of the soul, a small thing had been taken, and that thing had been given in the form of chapter, and the name of the chapter was the landscape of the soul. Means this is the excerpt, means a small portion of the book of the landscape of the soul. After this comes an article which was written by Brinda Suri, and this article was printed in the Hindustan Times on 28 August 2005. And the name of the article is Getting Inside Outsider Art. From the word only we have got the idea that getting inside means you have to enter inside, and we have to enter inside into which art? Into outsider art, which is outside, which we have not ever seen. When French painter Jean Dubuffet mooted the concept of art blood, when there was a French painter whose name was Jean Dubuffet. His name was Jean Dubuffet. There was a French painter whose name was Jean Dubuffet, had created a concept, and that concept and art. He had created art, and that art is known as the art blood. And this art blood actually means raw art, means the things which we have prepared by our raw material, raw blood. In the 1940s, the art of the untrained visionary was of minority interest, and always we have seen that the art which is not very much in demand, or we can say a new art which no one knows it, that art is not very much popularized, that art is in minority, and that art doesn't receive any type of demand, doesn't get any interest. From its almost veiled beginning, from veiled beginning means closed, covered beginning. From its veiled beginning, from its covered, not very much open beginning, outsider art has gradually become the fastest growing area of interest in contemporary art internationally, and this art has got so much demand in the international society also. This genre is described as the art of those who have no right to be artists, as they have received no formal training, yet show talent and artistic insight. This type of artist doesn't got any type of formal training. In spite of that, they are presenting so much beautiful art. They can't be said as a real artist. Their works are stimulating. These works are provoking in nature, contrast a lot of mainstream offering, and this type of art providing a new type of enthusiasm to create a new thing. Around the time Dubuffet was propounding his concept in India, an untutored genius was creating paradise. While Dubuffet was creating all this raw art or art bread, there was in India there was a talented person whose name was Nek Chand, who created an rock garden in the Chandigarh. An untutored genius in India creating a paradise. Paradise actually means the heaven. In India, Nek Chand had been creating a paradise. Years ago, the little patch of jungle that he began clearing to make himself a garden, sculpted with stone and recycled material, is known to the world today as the Rock Garden at Chandigarh. Actually, he was cleaning the patch. Actually, he was cleaning the jungle. From there, he started carving, sculpting the garden which was full of the statues, and the statues are made up from the stones. He had carved that stones and created statues, and he had recycled the raw material, and at last he created a rock garden in the Chandigarh. Rock garden at Chandigarh, he had made a rock garden. In its 80 years old creator, director Nek Chand is now hailed. Hailed means we have to proclaim. We have to proclaim him. Hailed means to proclaim. Okay. Hailed means proclaim. Nek Chand had proclaimed as India's biggest contributor to outsider. He is the biggest contributor who provides this outsider art. The 50th issue, Spring 2005 of Raw Vision, a UK-based magazine. This is the UK-based magazine, Raw Vision. Pioneer means the first person to do a thing. Pioneer in outsider art publication, features Nek Chand and his rock garden sculpture titled as Woman by the Waterfall on its anniversary issues cover. And this thing was on the cover of the UK-based magazine with the title Woman by the Waterfall. The notion of art bread, the idea of art bread, the idea of raw art was of works that were in their raw state as regards cultural and artistic influence, and this art bread has got the demand, had got the provocation due to the cultural and artistic work. Anything and everything from a tin to a sink to a broken down car could be material for a work of art. He says that from the tin to sink means from every object, broken down car means everything can be used as a raw material, and they can be used as a raw material garden. Something Nek Chand has taken to dizzying height, something has taken to beyond height means there is a toppest, dizzying means the toppest part of the height. Recognizing his art as an outstanding testimony of difference a single man can make when he lives his dream. And this is his dream, to make this type of garden. The Swiss Commission for UNESCO will be honoring him the way of a European exposition of his works, and the Swiss Commission of UNESCO had honored him for this work. The 5-month interactive show Realm of Nick Chan beginning October will be held at leading museums in Switzerland, and his work will be shown in the leading museum of Switzerland for the 5 months in the Switzerland, Belgium, France, and Italy. The biggest reward is walking through the garden and seeing people enjoy my creation, Nick Chan says. And the Nick Chan says that the biggest reward is not that reward which we got from the UNESCO or from any country. The biggest thing is that when any person moves towards the garden and seeing my garden, this is my biggest reward. Like this, we have completed this chapter.